सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। आत्मा रामानन्दरमणा आत्मा रामानन्दरमणा अच्युत केशव हरिनारायण अच्युत केशव हरिनारायण भवभयहरणा वन्दितचरणा भवभयहरणा वन्दितचरणा रघुकुलभूषण राजीवलोचन रघुकुलभूषण राजीवलोचन आदिनारायण अनन्तशयना आदिनारायण अनन्तशयना सच्चिदानन्दा सत्यनारायण सच्चिदानन्दा सत्यनारायण भवभयहरणा वन्दितचरणा रघुकुलभूषण राजीवलोचन आत्मा रामानन्दरमणा आनन्दरमणा। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Humble prostrations to one and all present here. Today's topic is how to handle different situations in life. Varieties of situations come. How should we handle them? So first of all, we have to keep this mind that every situation should help us evolve spiritually. And that is why these situations are coming to us. So if we can help, if we can make use of the situations to help us spiritually evolve, then that situation has done its purpose. Now, what is spiritual progress? So Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Ahamapetakam nija vibhanakam mahadidam tapo ramanavagiyam. This is the greatest tapas, greatest austerity we can do in order to evolve spiritually. So what is that greatest austerity? Number one, aham apetakam. Our ego should fall. Ego effacement has to happen. Number two, nija vibhanakam. The Lord in our heart should manifest. So replacing the ego in our heart with the Lord in our heart. If this is done, then that is the greatest tapas. So the whole purpose of handling the situation is how to get rid of our ego. With this goal, now we are going to handle various situations in life. So what are the major situations in life? Situation number one, when I do good to others. Situation number two, when others do good to me. Situation number three, when I do bad to others. So situation number four will be when others do bad to me. Situation number five, when I perform better than others. So situation number six will be when others perform better than us. Situation number seven, when I have to criticize somebody, I have to find fault with someone, I have to correct someone. So situation number 8 will be when others find fault with me, criticize me, correct me. Situation number 9, when I get attached to others. So situation number 10 will be when others get attached to me. So these are the major 10 situations, often repeated situations, which we will encounter in our life. So we must know how to handle these situations. So what is the intelligent way of handling situation? That situation must efface our ego. That situation must help us connect to God. Okay. Now let us discuss. What is the first situation? When I do good to others. So what is the wrong way of handling this situation? I will be doing good to others, but generally what happens is when I do good to others, I have a superiority complex. Unknowingly, somewhere I feel that I am superior. Somewhere the pride in me raises its hood. Somewhere I tend to think that because of me so many people got benefited. This tendency comes if we are not alert. And somewhere we also find that whoever is the beneficiary, I start looking down upon that person also. Holier than thou attitude. So if these things are happening, know for sure we are spiritually devolving. Though I am doing good to others, but that doing good is only doing harm to me. Because my greatest enemy is being nourished by that good deed. Who is my greatest enemy? My own ego. Always keep this in mind. The one thing which is preventing me from experiencing the Lord in my heart, that one thing is my own ego. So therefore, my enemy is not somewhere in the outer world. My enemy is right there in my own heart. So through different situations, am I nourishing this ego or am I effacing this ego? This question we have to ask ourselves. So doing good, we should not stop. We should continue to do good. But then what should be our attitude when we are doing good? Oh Lord, this inspiration to do good has come from you. I am only an instrument in your hands. You are the one who is doing it. Because to do good, there are so many factors necessary. Number one, the inspiration to do good. Number two, the talents and abilities to do good. The resources to do good. Isn't it? A healthy body, a healthy mind. So many factors are necessary. All these factors are taken care by you. So therefore, actually you are the one who is doing good. There need not be any rise of pride in me, because my contribution in this regard is zero. Now we may say, Swamiji, how can you say it is zero? There is some contribution also. Okay. So now we have to think this, okay? For all our achievements, success, awards, rewards, recognition, how much percentage can you credit for yourself? How much percentage for God and how much percentage for you? How much percentage? Generally we say, Swamiji, 50% God. 50 Tan Padi Devam Padi, we say. But when you start analyzing this 50% of ours, slowly we find that it is reducing. When we deeply analyze every aspect, we come to know it is not 50%, it comes down to actually 0%. No, Swamiji, I don't believe. There is some contribution from my side also. To the extent you feel that there is some percentage of your contribution, that much percentage of ego is there in you. If you are convinced that it is 0%, you are a liberated soul. That is called as liberation. What is liberation? Liberation from our ego is true liberation. When we start analyzing our life, we come to know everything is taken care by the Lord only. Whatever achievements I have gained in my life, that inspiration to achieve, how that inspiration has come, I truly don't know. Inspiration came, therefore I was putting forth effort, and therefore the cosmic forces aligned together, and therefore I was seated on the pinnacle of success. I cannot take any credit. The very physical body is functioning because of the grace of the Lord. Right ideas come at the right time because of the grace of the Lord. Because I cannot take credit for that idea also. Because how the brain is functioning, that itself I don't know. How can I take credit for those wonderful, creative, unique ideas? So when we thus start analyzing every aspect of life, we come to know that we are mere instruments carrying forward the will of the Lord. To the extent you are convinced about this truth, you will have peace in your life. Because to that extent, you will be effacing your ego. You will be giving all credit to the Lord. You will start allowing the divine to function through you by stepping aside from his path. So this is the right way of performing good deeds in this world. Perform good deeds, no doubt, but do it without ego. With this firm conviction that everything is happening by the will of the Lord. Now a question may come, Swamiji, if everything is happening by the will of the Lord, isn't it true that a criminal's crime is also happening because of the inspiration from the Lord? A criminal is also equally inspired to perform that crime. So our answer is no. Because even when that criminal is instigated to perform that crime because of his intense revenge, hatred, etc., remember there is a voice of God which is warning him. There is a voice which says, don't do it. There is a voice which disturbs the mind. He is not listening to that voice. He is listening only to the compulsions of his likes and dislikes. So then you cannot say that action belongs to God. That action belongs to the ego alone. So you cannot blame God.
That contribution is to listen to that voice?
Yes. Our job is to listen to that inner voice of the Lord and behave. The moment you start listening to his voice, that action belongs to him. When you listen to your own voice, the voice of the ego, then that action belongs to you. If you are an obedient child, then the actions that are performed through you is not your action, it belongs to God's action. You are only an instrument. Actions don't belong to the instrument, it always belongs to the wielder of the instrument. So all the good karmas that we do, actually the inspiration comes from the Lord. So all the good deeds, they belong to the Lord. And all the bad deeds belong to us. Ego means what? Us. Okay. So when we do good to others, always do it without this sense of doership, ego. Then you have beautifully made use of that opportunity. Now the next one. What is the second one? When others do good to us. So what should be our attitude? The attitude of gratitude. Be thankful. You are expressing your gratitude to the Lord through that person through whom this goodies flow. So in our scriptures, what are the sources towards whom we should be grateful? So we have this Pancha Mahayajnas. we should be grateful to these 5 entities. Who are they? Brahma Yajna, then Deva Yajna, then Pitra Yajna, then Nr Yajna or Manushya Yajna, and the 5th one, Bhuta Yajna. So first one is Brahma Yajna. Be grateful to all the teachers. Whatever we have learned, we are learning, it is all because of those teachers. So be grateful to the teachers, whether it is material knowledge or spiritual knowledge. That is called as Brahma Yajna. Brahma means Vedas. Brahma Yajna. What is the second one? Deva Yajna. Be grateful to the Mother Nature, because of which we are surviving in this world. The air, the water, the sun, the moon, the trees. Be grateful to them. Expression of gratitude is keep this, nature pure, water clean. So that is Deva Yajna. The third one is Pitra Yajna. Be grateful to our ancestors, our parents, our grandparents. And the fourth one, Nrayatnya, be grateful to each and every human being. Because whatever we are enjoying, it's all because somewhere somebody has taken pain. Today all the comforts that we have, it is all because so many people have worked together. So be grateful to each and every human being. Nrayatnya. And then Bhuta Yajna. What is Bhuta Yajna? Be grateful to the plants, the animals, the birds. They also contribute to our existence on this planet. So this becomes gratitude. What is the tendency of an egoistic person? To be ungrateful. An egoistic person takes but never thanks. Beware of this. So that is the second one. Now the third situation. What is the third situation? When I do bad to others. Should I do bad to others? We should never do bad to others. Okay. But sometimes, by mistake, such bad actions happen. So then what should be the right attitude? Seek forgiveness. What is the attitude of the ego? What is the attitude of the ego when we do something bad to others? Ego will justify our bad action. Yes. The tendency is to justify. Because to seek forgiveness, you have to become small. And becoming small is something which ego doesn't like. Ego always wants to become bigger and bigger. It doesn't want to become small. That is why the ego doesn't want to express gratitude. Ego doesn't want to admit mistakes, admit fault. So all these situations we have to be extremely careful, because when I am not apologizing for the mistake which I have done, and I am convinced that I have done wrong, but I don't want to admit it, because I will become small. So every time I am wrongly handling the situation, every time I am giving an opportunity for my enemy to grow. So when I have done something wrong, sincerely apologize. Accept the mistake, admit the mistake, and apologize. So that is the third situation. Fourth situation, when others do bad to us, what should be our attitude? We should forgive, we should have a compassionate attitude, we should be kind. But what is the attitude of the ego? What is the attitude of the ego? Number one, revenge. Number two, hatred, dislike, grudge, whatever you may say. Whenever somebody does bad to us, the general attitude of the ego is to find fault with that person, hate that person, if possible, take revenge. So when all these negative emotions rule the heart, know for sure you are ruled by your ego. Now many times we say, yes Swamiji, we understand we should forgive, but many times we are not able to forgive. I know I should forgive, but I am not able to forgive. There is a practical problem here. Sometimes we say externally, I forgive you, but deep down I know I have not forgiven. Forgetting is, forget about it. Forget about forgetting. Many times this forgiving is only a lip service. Deep down I am hurt, that wound is there, and I am not able to forgive. So how to forgive? You see, there is a practical solution for it. Forgiveness comes only from right understanding. You will find that all these virtues automatically come when there is right understanding behind that emotion. So how to forgive a person? You see, to forgive a person, you must see the helplessness of that person. This is when you are able to forgive a person. What are you seeing in that person who is shouting at you, abusing you and all that? What are you seeing? If you are seeing that helplessness of that person, you will be able to forgive that person. For example, suppose a blind, you are walking along the road and somebody pushes you from behind and you fall down. So what is the natural tendency? Anger. Who is this person? You flare up and then you turn and then you find a blind man there. So what happens to your anger? You are able to immediately forgive that person, yes or no? Because you understand that that person has done it unknowingly and that person has done it helplessly. You are able to see the helplessness of that person, and the moment you are able to see the helplessness of that person, that moment anger is gone. Instead of anger, you have only forgiveness, sympathy. Because you know what it is to be without eyes. You are able to understand the state of that person. And you are in a better position. Remember, both are necessary. One person is below, you are above. I have eyes, this person doesn't have eyes. But suppose you are also a blind person and somebody pushes you from behind. Then what will happen? The anger continues because you don't know who that person is. Yes or no? You keep shouting at that person. In the same way, when a person is shouting at you in anger, the question is, what are you seeing in that person? Are you seeing helplessness in that person? Because the moment a person is possessed by anger, that person becomes a slave of anger. Now that person doesn't know what he is speaking, what he is doing. So actually it is a pathetic condition. Because you are cut off from your wisdom, your knowledge. Kamat, what is that? Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammoha smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhramshat buddhinashah. When anger comes, you are cut off from your wisdom, your information, knowledge, everything, and then you behave like a two-legged animal. So, when you see a person possessed by anger, what are you seeing? Suppose you are an egoistic person, then you will say, how dare he speak like this to me? So who is important? I am important. He spoke that to me. Your ego is hurt. And when your ego is hurt, where is the focus? focus is upon the hurt feeling, not upon the helpless situation of the other person. Unless you are out of your ego, you will not be able to forgive others. So therefore, inability to forgive others shows how much of ego we have. Just like that stone cannot exit the gravity of earth and it comes back. In the same way, ego is also a kind of gravity. Everything boils down to me. And I am not able to exit this gravity of ego. I am not able to see the helplessness of the other person. To the extent you are free from this ego, you are able to see the helplessness, and thus you are able to forgive that person. So this is the way we have to analyze. Am I able to forgive a person who has done something bad to me? If I am not able to forgive, understand the ego is ruling me. You see, each and every situation when we are handling, each and every situation is indicating to me how much I am ruled by my ego. Having hatred feeling, it is very easy because it is animalistic. To become an animal is very easy. To become divine, yes, effort is necessary. Sadhana is necessary. Spiritual practice is necessary. To go down, it is very easy. To go up, it is difficult. Having revengeful tendency, very easy. Having hatred, very easy. Tit for tat, very, very easy. Many times we don't take revenge because we don't have the strength to take revenge. The enemy is really strong. I don't have the courage. So I beautifully cover that cowardice in the name of forgiveness. I forgive you. Only the strong can forgive. We cannot forgive. So, that is situation number 4. When others do bad to me. Situation number 5. What is that situation? When I perform better than others. Many times in life, it is all a rat race. This is a world of competition. Everywhere you will have some competitor. And there are times, very rare times, when you are better than others. Those times are very rare. Most of the times others are better than you. That we'll discuss later. So first, when I am better than others, and there are so many fields to compete. Studies, music, sports, profession. So when I am better than others, what is the attitude of the ego? Again, same, superiority complex. Isn't it? Beware. There is a joy, you see. There is a subtle joy when you are better than others. Never relish it. Because it is a sweet poison. It is very tasty. Very sweet. You go on relishing it again and again, playing in the mind like a broken record. Because every time you enjoy how you defeated others, conquered others, won over others, there is a joy. And this joy is called egoistic joy. Remember, in life, not all joys are good. There are poisonous joys also. Just because something is giving you happiness doesn't mean that it is good for you. All these egoistic joys are agre amrutopamam pariname visham. In the beginning it is nectarian, but in the end it is poisonous. Because every time you are relishing that egoistic joy, every time what is happening to the ego? Ego is nourished. Ego is fattened. See, this such a big Rakshasa called ego, who has nourished it? Don't say it's an accident. God gave this ego. God doesn't do all that. You, by your own unconscious, unintelligent action, you have nourished this ego, which has now become a obstruction from me knowing my own true nature, divine nature. The one thing which is preventing us from knowing our divine nature, the one thing which is preventing us from experiencing God, becoming one with God, is this ego, and this ego is nourished by us. How do we nourish this ego? By indulging in egoistic pleasures. So to the extent you know the dangers of this ego, to that extent you will not revel in these pleasures. When somebody does bad to you, there is a joy of taking revenge. Yes or no? He slapped you once, you slapped him twice. There's a joy. All the hurt feeling of that one slap is gone when you have given him two. Never relish in all these pleasures. They are all poison. So when I do good, what is that? When I outperform others, when I perform better than others, there is a subtle joy. A serious spiritual student who truly wants to be happy in life should not relish it. So what should be our attitude then? What should be the attitude? Again the same attitude. Oh Lord, all these abilities and talents actually belong to you. I am only a medium of expression. All these abilities belong to you. This is the right attitude. Don't allow your talents and abilities to nourish your ego. You have to be extremely alert in all these cases. Now, the next situation. What is the next situation? When others are performing better than you. You see, the more and more you train your mind in this, that all my abilities and talents belong to God, you will find that others' abilities and talents also you are able to see it belonging to God. So, when I see others performing better than me, what is the attitude of the ego? Jealousy. I can't stand it. There's a burning sensation. And how to get rid of that burning sensation of jealousy? There are three ways. By the ego, okay? How does the ego try to get rid of this feeling of jealousy? Remember, jealousy is a very uncomfortable feeling. Somebody is better than you, and I am miserable. You know, when that feeling comes, jealousy doesn't come just like that. There are certain conditions to be met to have this jealous feeling. What are the two necessary conditions for being jealous? Number one, you value something. And number two, somebody has more than what you have. When you don't value something and somebody has more, you don't care for it. You are not jealous about a person who has something which you don't value. But something which you value and somebody has more than what you have. Two necessary conditions. Then the uncomfortable feeling that you have is called jealousy. You see, every emotion has a definition. So now, when the jealousy comes, what do? Because that's an uncomfortable feeling. You have to get rid of it. What are the egoistic ways of getting rid of it? Number one, ignore that person. Don't think about that person. When you think you are miserable, take your attention away. Number two, compete with that person and defeat that person. This is called as matsarya, matsara bhava, that attitude of competition. Compete and defeat and then be peaceful. But many times that is not possible because I am a donkey and he is a he is a horse. Then what to do? Then the third one is called asuya. You see, these are all different names of one jealousy in Sanskrit. Matsarya, asuya, irshya. Irshya means that burning sensation. Depending upon how you react to this negative emotion, different names are also given. So then when that person is a horse and you are a donkey, then what you should do? Then the term is called asuya. What is asuya? Find fault with that person. He is winning because of these reasons. Find some lame excuse. Then you are at peace. See, you always ego, this is what ego does. It pulls down others. Everybody who is up, it will pull down. And finally, who is up? Only I am up. And then I am very happy. Finding fault with others. Gossiping. All this joy, where is that joy coming from? When I find fault with others, there is a great peace. You see? Where is that masala, that taste coming from? When 2-3 people come together, there's a great joy in discussing all the negativities of others. These are all egoistic joys only. When everybody is pulled down, finally without saying, only I am up. This is called as asuya. Finding fault. So these are all the tendencies of the ego. You have to be very, very careful. What am I doing with my mind? So depending upon that line of thinking, observe what kind of thoughts am I entertaining in such situations. Because those thoughts can indicate to you whether you are being ruled by the ego or you are being ruled by the Lord. The whole spiritual life is nothing but a life of alert living, vigilant living. This is spiritual life. Spiritual life is all about paying attention to your thoughts. All the external rituals and all, they are very, very secondary. Real spiritual life is paying attention to your thoughts. Paying attention to the contents of your thoughts. Am I entertaining negative thoughts or am I entertaining positive thoughts? Because my peace of mind is directly connected to my thoughts. When the thinking is wrong, when the thinking is negative, I am miserable. When the thinking is right, I am peaceful. Samatvam yoga uchyate. What is yoga? Peace of mind is yoga. Equanimity of mind is yoga. That is yoga. That is the definition of yoga. And how do you get that peaceful mind? Accidentally you will not stumble across peace, except in sleep. For peace, you have to pay the price. And the price is right thinking. Training the mind to think right is what spirituality is. So, what is the situation we are discussing? when others perform better than me. You cannot get rid of jealousy without devotion for God. It's a challenge. You may helplessly bear it, tolerate it, but remember it is still a burning sensation. You are miserable. I cannot stand myself inferior to somebody. It is a natural tendency. The only way to get rid of ego is when you see that very same Lord expressing in everyone's heart. Just like my talents and abilities belong to God, every talent and ability in this world belongs to God alone. If this understanding is firmly rooted in you, you will be able to truly appreciate from the depth of your heart somebody's talents and ability. So this is a test for all spiritual seeker. How wholeheartedly I am relishing the greatness of others, the talents and abilities of others. It is very easy to go and say, hey, Sabash, congrats, you did well. But deep down, there's a pain. You see? Are those coming from the depth of your heart? Only you know. Others will never know. To the extent these words are coming from the depth of your heart, understand to that extent you have effaced your ego. Otherwise, you are still ruled by your ego only. See, especially in the same field, you see, two students studying in the same college, one fellow scores high. Can you really go to that person and say, hey, congrats, you did well? Or two musicians, one sings better than the other. Or two sports people. See, the sportsman is not jealous of the musician, okay? Same field, somebody is doing better. In spiritual life, you don't need to become first in every field. No, that is not spirituality. Bhagavad Gita is not training you to become number one in every field. People have this wrong notion. If I study Bhagavad Gita, I will become number one. No, you are a fool. You have not understood Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita teaches you even amidst defeat, even amidst failures, how to remain equanimous. That is Bhagavad Gita. Even when others are performing better than you, you are at peace. There is no comparison. There is no competition. You are absolutely at peace. This is Gita way of living. Sukha, dukkha, mana, apamana, ninda, stuti, shita, ushna. Amidst all ups and downs, can you keep your mind equanimous? This is the challenge. And this is the training we have to give to our mind. Okay, so how many situations over? 6. 7. What is the 7th one? When I have to find fault with others, I have to criticize others, correct others. Now what is the biggest problem here? That person will not like it. Why? Because I have to hurt his ego. When I am trying to correct somebody, definitely that person's ego is hurt. So you have to be extremely careful. So how to handle this situation? How to handle this situation? See, an egoistic person easily criticizes others because he is a very insensitive person. He doesn't know what is happening in others' heart. An egoless person is very, very sensitive. You know, unless you have conquered your ego, you will never know the problems of the ego, the subtle functionings of the ego. So the more and more you have conquered your ego, you know how that person will behave when you try to correct that person. You can feel it. So then you become very sensitive. So how to correct others? So then we say there's a technique called sandwich technique. You know what this sandwich technique is? First, praise that person. Tell all good things that person has achieved, done. Then that person becomes very happy, flared up. And then just indicate what correction need to be done. Then that person listens to you with an open mind. Then again, don't end that conversation with that bitter feeling. Again, praise that person. So this is called a sandwich. Bread first, chutney next, then again another bread. You see? End that conversation in a beautiful note. So if you have to tell something good of that person, what is the homework you must do? You have to pay attention. What all are the good things he has done? Many times our ego, we are very smart in finding defects in others. But we never pay attention to all the good things that person has done. 9 good things are there, 1 bad thing is there. We will discuss only 1 bad thing. This is the nature of the ego. You have to be very careful. I love discussing the negativity of others. I love poking others. Ego is a very sadistic, entity. It relishes the defects in others. So then the first thing is I have to find out what all good things that person has done. What all are the virtues in him? I have to do this homework. So first I have to tell all that. Then that person is happy. Remember, everybody is ruled by ego only. Everyone. Very rarely 1 or 2 people you will find. So in the society, when we are living in such an ego-ridden society, we have to be very careful when we speak to others. If some correction has to be done, praise that person, make that person happy, and then indicate it very sweetly. There will be a little bleeding. Immediately do the stitching. What is the stitching? Again, praise that person. Then the healing is very fast. Praise, indicate, praise. So this is the way we have to find fault, correct others. Now, when others are finding fault with us, this is the 8th situation, right? When others are finding fault with us, what is the general tendency of the ego? Revolt, unacceptance. Instead, we start finding fault with that person. He is telling all this without even seeing how much. Then you make a big list. These are all the ways the egos will react. It doesn't want to listen its own criticism. To the extent I am feeling hurt through the criticisms of others, that shows how much of ego I carry. You see, every situation is an indication of my imperfection. Every situation indicates to me in different ways the size of my ego. Greater the hurt feeling, greater is my ego. Now, criticisms also can be 2 types. Constructive criticism, destructive criticism. If it's a destructive criticism, you can ignore it. Somebody is feeling jealous about you, therefore that person is criticizing you. You don't have to care. But if it is a constructive criticism, thank that person. Again, unless you are egoless, you cannot thank that person. So these are all the things which we have to cultivate. Every time my job is only one, puncturing my own ego. So when I am thanking that person for having pointed out the defect in me, what am I doing? I am puncturing my ego, effacing my ego, burning down my ego. And thus that act of thanksgiving becomes a spiritual act. Right. So that is situation number 8. Situation number 9. When I am attached to someone. So yesterday we had discussed. What did we discuss? Unhealthy attachment. So now there are 3 types of relationships we can have with others. Number 1, unhealthy detachment. That is a tamasic relationship. What is unhealthy detachment? I don't care attitude. Do whatever you want, I don't care. Now don't say that it is a very spiritual thing, detachment. Practice. It is unhealthy detachment. That is not what is glorified in spirituality. Many people misunderstand that detachment as this unhealthy detachment. I don't care attitude. No. That is tamasic. Worst. Rajasic attitude is unhealthy attachment. That is also bad. So all the negativities yesterday we had seen. Unhealthy attachment. You become helpless. That person becomes everything in your life. You become a slave. You can't even think properly. You start suffocating that person with your unhealthy love. That person wants to run away from you. All the parent-children relationship generally enter into that. Children are fed up of their father and mother because they keep on poking their nose into their business. Unhealthy attachment. So that is also not good. Then, what is the third one? It is healthy detachment. What is healthy detachment? I am with my near and dear ones. We are all living together. I love them, I serve them, everything I do, but at the same time, I am in touch with the reality of life. What is the reality of life? This relationship began at some point of time, and at some point of time, this relationship will end. It's a fact of life. Always keeping in mind this reality. Every relationship in this world is impermanent. Only one relationship for me is permanent, and what is that? My relationship with God. So, that relationship is given the highest importance. All the other relationships become secondary. Then that is called as healthy detachment. You love others, you serve others, whatever has to be done, you do it. Those people help you grow spiritually, therefore you are grateful to others also. Whatever duties you are supposed to do, you are doing it. You are doing it as best as you can. But at the same time, you know, my relationship with God alone is real. Then what is called as, then you experience what is called as healthy detachment. This is what I have to practice with every relationship in this world. So this is when I become attached to others. What is the 10th one? When others become attached to me, what should I do? You don't have to do anything. That is their problem. It is their problem. If somebody is using you as his or her crutches, you don't have to remove. Let them use. If somebody is holding on to me for their strength, let them hold on. I am not here to get rid of others' attachment towards me. If somebody is finding strength and solace in my presence, what is wrong? So thus we have these 10 situations. When we live these 10 situations beautifully well, remember what is the focus? In all these situations, I am trying to efface my ego, which is my enemy, which is the obstacle. And these situations are used for spiritual progress. So you don't have to run away from the world. Spirituality, many people think it is all escapism. No. Remaining in the world, beautifully handling each and every situation, this is the way to grow spiritually. So materialistic pursuits and spirituality, they are not contradicting each other. Right. Now we can have some questions.
Hello. Hari Om Swamiji. I have two questions. One is the third situation you talked about, right? Where I am bad to others. The biggest challenge is to understand I am bad to others. Right? First of all, I will not accept I am bad to others. That itself is the biggest challenge. So can you elaborate more on that? How do we quantify that? Second is the question, I'll just give the question right now. You said anything happens good, it is with the God's grace. Anything is bad, we have to own it, which is right. So as a parent, I understand, but I have a grown-up kid. How I technically explain them? And anything happens good, it is God's grace. Whatever wrong you are doing, it is you are at fault. Thank you.
But are you convinced?
I am convinced.
If you are convinced, you must be able to explain.
No, I'm very much convinced.
Then you must be able to explain to your son.
The grown-up kids, they go more technicalities, etc. So
no, grown-up kids, they want answers in a logical way, reasonable way.
Right.
Grown-up kids, they ask good questions.
Yes.
In fact, they make us think. So, we should be able to convince them by giving rational answers, convincing answers. So just like I was able to convince you, you said you are convinced.
I am convinced, but I am following that philosophy also. But yeah, I am convinced.
If you are convinced, then you must be able to convince others. That is the proof that you are convinced.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, now the first question. What is that first question?
I am bad to others.
Yes. See, are you knowingly bad to others? Then only you are bad. Unknowingly when you are bad to others, it is not considered bad.
That is the second case scenario I'm talking about. How do I know myself? Like if I have a conscience, yes, I will understand I'm knowingly bad to others.
Yes.
Unknowingly bad to others.
You don't have to worry about that. Okay. Unintentionally being bad is not considered bad. Because in spirituality, an action is good or bad depending upon the intention behind action. So if you are with a good intention doing some action, that action is considered to be good action. Though ultimately it may end in some negative result. Question is, what is your intention? A doctor is also using a knife. A thief is also using a knife. Doctor is using the knife to save a life. Thief is using the knife to kill a person. Both are using knife. Both are, tearing the flesh open also. But there is a difference. Intention. So if the intention is good, that action is considered good.
Thank you.
Hello, Swami. I have one more situation where self-thoughts, sometimes you blame yourself, either for the past mistakes or some actions and things like that, or sometimes some bad thoughts comes to your mind, right? And sometimes good thought also comes to your mind as well. So in this situation, how to control yourself?
How to control the thoughts?
How to control the thoughts, yes.
So on the first day, you were there on the first day?
Yes, no.
Okay. So we discussed one technique called 5-point technique. Observe, detect, eliminate, substitute, strengthen. Observe the thoughts, detect those negative thoughts, eliminate the negative by substituting it with the positive, and strengthen the positive thoughts. So this is one among the very many purposes of meditation. So in meditation you look within. And then you watch your thoughts. What all kinds of thoughts are there. Maybe we'll discuss it day after tomorrow when we'll take up topic of meditation. I'll spend some more time there. Since many people have asked this question.
I have another question. Past mistakes will you realize later in your lifetime? And so how to react?
There is a guilt feeling, isn't it?
Yes.
You see, point number one, always keep this in mind that we grow only by committing mistakes. Life is given to us to commit mistakes only. Don't say that I will never commit mistake and I will keep on evolving. Not possible. In swimming, can you learn swimming without drowning? Not possible. Can you learn walking without falling? Not possible. In every field you have to fail. That's the law. So therefore, allow yourself this. Knowingly nobody commits anything. But let us be able to forgive ourselves. Now, I will tell you one practical thing. The more you are able to forgive others, the more you are able to forgive yourself. This is psychology. So whenever you find people around you making mistakes, forgive them. The more and more, I think in Bible there is a statement. Blessed are those who forgive others because they shall be forgiven. It's a fact. It's based on karma theory. The more and more you are able to understand others, not judging others, loving everyone, forgiving everyone, you will find that all those, you are able to get rid of any guilt feeling very easily. Right.
Hari Om Swamiji. So I'm saying that ego has a role to play in this material world, or is at times necessary. I think ego is an attributing or an ascribing function. So Swamiji, if you tell me Nikhil, lift the chair, then that this is this Nikhil to lift the chair, and that's also a role of my ego. So again, we look at ego as always in a negative context, but I think ego also has a role to play, as I said, in this Maya world.
So what is the question?
So the question is that ego is not always bad.
Ego is not always bad.
Yeah.
Whatever ego we have discussed, it will make you do all bad things. See, there is, Ramakrishna Paramsa has beautifully said. He said, the ego of a child doesn't hurt us. So if I say, I am a devotee of the Lord, the ego of devotee, it will not hurt you. I am a child of Divine Mother. That ego of a child will not hurt you. So there are certain egos which will not hurt you. Everything depends on what is that ego making you do. What is the end result? If the end result is painful, negative, then definitely that is a negative ego.
Hari Om Swamiji, it's a sudden, when I heard that, suddenly I have some question. Like, if I want to see, a career person wants to perform better than somebody. What is that drive? Is that inspiration ego or?
You want to compete and defeat somebody?
Something, and I have to compete.
You have to compete with somebody and then win over that person?
I know, actually.
Or are you trying to bring out your best?
I want to grow among a group.
So you are trying to bring out your best.
Right.
As long as that is concerned, it is not negative.
Okay.
Trying to bring out my best is never considered. But if you are comparing with somebody and then you want to beat that person, then it will create stress.
Okay. So if I am going to diminish other and grow, then that will...
See, you will always find that whenever, the thoughts are in negative direction, there is stress, worry, tension, anxiety.
Okay.
Then know for sure you are ruled by the ego.
Okay. Now I got it.
Yes.
Thanks.
Hari Om Guruji. So you mentioned about forgiveness. So let's say we are consciously making efforts and forgiving and taking into consideration the other person's emotions. But they are taking it as a granted, and they think that is our helplessness, and then they take advantage of it. And this is others. And if you trust somebody as your own and they pull the rug under you, so how much of bad can we forgive?
How much of bad can you forgive? Are you disturbed after forgiving? Then there is some problem in forgiving also. Whenever you forgive, the mind has to become peaceful. If after forgiving your mind is disturbed, that means true forgiveness has not happened. Somewhere you are quiet because you don't want to create a mess. True forgiving always leads to peace. Otherwise it is just tolerating. And I tell you, if you are truly forgiving that person cannot stand in front of you. Because you are a mighty force. You are very, very strong. To forgive, it is not easy. Don't think that ego can forgive. Never. If you are ruled by your ego, you can never forgive others. To forgive others, you need that divine connection. So if something negative is happening in the name of forgiveness, I am sure forgiveness is not happening. Just think of Jesus Christ. A person is nailed on the cross and this person says, "Oh Lord, forgive them. They don't know what they are doing." That is true forgiveness. You understand, Amma? Yes.
The question that I was going to say, even in spiritual path, we kind of see and notice there is competition or ego competition. One feels I'm better, that I'm more closer to the Swamiji than the other person. And my question is also, does that happen at a very evolved Swami level also? One Swami may be thinking, I have more devotees than the other.
You are absolutely right. So they are all immature devotees and immature Swamis. To the extent, you know the definition of extraordinary? The one who is extremely ordinary becomes extraordinary. Spiritual path is that. You have to become extremely ordinary, down to earth. I am a nobody attitude. Such a person alone has the entry into the kingdom of God.
One last question.
Going off of what Auntie said, I know you can forgive someone for the things that they do, but at what point do you realize that you keep forgiving someone for the things that they do to you, but there's a limit to that where they start taking advantage of you, and you keep forgiving them, but they don't realize that you've forgiven them, and they take that as your weakness and take advantage of you. Because at that point, you're just letting them, walk all over you, because you're the like you're more forgiving than
See, what happens is, when you're truly forgiving, that person finds peace in your presence, solace in your presence. That person feels, I am loved, I am valued, I am respected. Such a person will never take advantage of you. Because this is the only place where I truly find peace. I don't know whether you have understood this or not.
But
Okay, let me put it another way. There are so many answers which can be given. When you have truly forgiven that person, you are at peace. You don't even care whether other person is taking advantage of that. Because you know that everything that happens in this world happens by the will of God. Wherever there is true forgiveness, there is true surrender also. Remember this. Surrender, forgiveness, faith, they all go together. So you are not even thinking about the other negativity, the negativities of other person. That is true goodness.
Swamiji, there I have a small question. When we forgive, I think we also means the other person may find solace, but maybe at our cost, right? So where do we do the boundary? Because as you told,
why do you need a
somebody
boundary?
Gets attached to us, or
why do you need a boundary?
No, actually,
that means you are ruled by the ego. The moment you say only this much, not beyond, that means you are ruled by the ego. There is no total surrender unto God. These are all high philosophies. Okay, I don't know whether you will understand or not. When Jesus was crucified, he did not say, God, what have you done? Throughout my life, I lived for you, and this is what you give me. Did he say that? He just allowed the will of the Lord to work.
okay, if the other person, if I forgive and...
I am not bothered about other person at all. You are all the time thinking of other person. This is the sign of ego. Why is that person doing like this? Why is this person doing like this? If you have totally forgiven, you are silent. Then and there, your mind is at peace. You don't care what other person is doing. That is none of my business. The negative thoughts of others. My job is my mind. Let me mind my own business. And what is my business? Mind is my business. Arjuna is a warrior. He is there to fight. He is there to perform his duty. He is not a Brahmana there.
That's where the definition of forgiveness is there. Forgiveness does not mean that if someone is bullying you, you accept it. That is not right, not the right definition of forgiveness.
Is that answer or a question?
No. It's in a way both. Because in that case, forgiveness would be, I mean, you stand up to the bully. You know, forgiveness doesn't mean that you ignore the bully. Forgiveness in that case, you stand up to that person. So that's what I'm trying to clarify, that we are mistaking forgiveness with our duty here. So, I mean, in certain situations, forgiveness definition is not applied. The definition is actually that at that time your duty is to stand up to that person.
Correct. Correct. Depending upon the situation, it will vary. Very short time, so therefore long discussions are not possible. If you want long discussions, please come to our mission center. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om